China has mastered a form of pressure that falls just below traditional military engagement, but still delivers strategic impact. This gray zone approach revolves around Coast Guard vessels, maritime militia, water cannons, and lasers, tools employed to assert dominance without triggering open conflict. Chinese Coast Guard expansion is staggering. As of mid-2025, its fleet includes 161 cutters over 1,000 tons, with two massive 10,000-ton vessels patrolling contested zones alongside naval assets. For example, size data shows 359 incident days near Laconia, 354 at Vanguard Bank, and 313 around Scarborough Shoal. In June 2024, amid a supply mission to Second Thomas Shoal, a Filipino sailor's thumb was crushed in a collision between vessels. The Philippines Coast Guard also reported being targeted with green lasers during operations at Second Thomas. These heavy-duty ships enforce presence without military escalation. Case in point, Scarborough Shoal, Second Thomas Shoal, Vanguard Bank, all witness near-daily Chinese patrols. Maritime militia, civilian vessels supported by the state, often swarm rival ships. The effect: gradual normalization of Chinese dominance, eroding rivals' operational access without crossing a confrontation threshold. As detailed earlier, these interruptions disrupt Philippine operations directly. Satellite tracking shows hundreds of Chinese Coast Guard vessels in these zones. While smaller in scale compared to the Philippine case, this still disrupts energy operations and strains diplomatic channels. Yet pushback is intensifying. U.S. Pacific Fleet commanders have criticized these pressure tactics as failing to deter Southeast Asian nations. Instead, they've helped drive deeper cooperation among claimants. Without extensive Coast Guard assets, it relies on alliance-based surveillance and shared intelligence to maintain oversight. It's an experiment in normalization. Pressure builds into routine. Hanoi has deployed its Coast Guard to intercept and document illegal entries. The net result: increased diplomatic protests and heightened regional maritime focus. These tactics, dubbed cabbage strategy, establish multi-layered control: fishing boats at the core, Coast Guard in the middle, military vessels on the perimeter. These facilities, aimed at servicing Philippine patrol vessels, enhance readiness in the South China Sea area. Instead of cowed silence, we're seeing greater unity. Joint patrols and intelligence exchanges are increasing. Teodoro, Manila's defense secretary, noted that Taiwan's security is tied directly to the Philippines' interests, leading to Coast Guard patrols in the Bashi Channel, high-level intelligence sharing, and Taiwanese observers during joint drills. This marks a seismic political shift, pushing Manila to integrate security concerns from the Strait into its own maritime posture. Taiwan's engagement with the Philippines, previously taboo, is now expanding. Manila has begun Coast Guard coordination with Taiwan in the Bashi Channel and included Taiwanese observers in drills with U.S. and Philippine forces that shifts us toward a world where muscular diplomacy carries more weight than legal norms. While no major incidents have yet sparked full-blown escalation, each event tests regional limits. The shifting landscape suggests that norms, not just naval strength, shape future balance. The big question: can this momentum keep pace with Beijing's evolving tactics? Or will further escalations challenge the emerging status quo? Thanks for watching. Your insights matter, so drop a comment below. The balancing act between readiness and restraint is fragile, and much will depend on transparent communication, rules-based conduct, and regional unity. The Japan-Philippines Reciprocal Access Agreement, ratified in June 2025, means joint exercises can continue under formal patronage. Indonesia has responded by ramping up patrols and publicizing incidents under its Transparency Initiative, all under mutual defense agreements, like the Philippines-U.S. Pact, which commits to mutual response should either be attacked in the South China Sea. This strategy highlights Chinese infringements to domestic and global audiences. But the region's growing unity is challenging Beijing's gamble, and that's where we head next. Despite Beijing's rejection of the 2016 UNCLOS ruling, which dismissed its historical 9-line claim. These coercive activities are gaining traction. Why it matters? These subtler pressures challenge international systems, making it harder for countries to defend their rights and diluting respect for UN maritime law. China's approach extends across 5 claimant nations in overlapping EEZs, stretching the region's capacity to monitor, respond, and escalate. Philippines. Scarborough Shoal remains shuttered by Chinese vessels since 2012. Filipino supply runs to Second Thomas Shoal face regular harassment, including collisions and laser incidents. Vietnam. Chinese survey ships and maritime militia hover near Vietnam's claimed zones. Malaysia. Recent satellite and Coast Guard reports indicate Chinese vessels circling Malaysian oil rigs near Sabah. Indonesia. Natuna Sea sees repeated intrusions by Chinese vessels asserting map-based claims. Brunei. Though low profile, Brunei's EEZ remains vulnerable. This 5-nation pressure campaign is strategic. By opening multiple fronts simultaneously, China forces rival nations to spread resources thin and mix diplomatic, legal, and military priorities. But results are mixed. Through these alignments, countries are increasing resilience and closing China's window for unchecked pressure, a trend we'll explore next. China's push has triggered a series of responses, spanning infrastructure upgrades, operational collaboration. First, the U.S. Navy's announcement of 2 repair hubs in Palawan, located at Oyster Bay and Quezon Town, underscores a long-term commitment to maritime operations. These structures follow earlier projects under the 2014 EDCA Pact. Warehouses and barracks already exist at 9 Philippine bases, now expanding to enable rotation and maintenance. Second, the Philippines is deepening behind-the-scenes links with Taiwan, moving beyond nominal diplomacy. Third, multilateral exercises like the recent Talisman Sabre, 19 nations and 40,000 troops in Australia, and expanded amphibious drills in the Philippines have enhanced interoperability around maritime threats. Japan's 2025 Defense White Paper flagged the Coast Guard's quasi-military role, cheering Allied patrol coordination. These efforts amount to a regional ecosystem of deterrence. Infrastructure ensures presence, Taiwan collaboration secures flank coordination, and joint drills build readiness. Still, stakes remain high. Any collision, equipment malfunction, or escalation, like laser usage, could trigger a crisis. China's maritime pressure has spurred unprecedented regional coordination, from U.S. support and Taiwan cooperation to multinational drills. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.